Hi, friends. How are you? I am so happy to be here because we're going to have a little bit of my favorite time of the week, which is real talk. We talk about real talk. Sometimes I don't know about you, but there are some days I wake up and I'm like, I just wish I had a magic genie. I wish I could just like rub this little lamp and something would just come to me. So, since we don't have a magic genie, I'm thinking that maybe we can have a conversation around what it looks like to create our own magic. So, I have a question for you. What struggle do business owners face when using social media? I don't know about you, but France has left a comment and she says Facebook has changed so many times, it's hard to keep up. And I have to tell anybody else who's feeling like Francis, like, yes, Facebook changes and Instagram changes and YouTube changes and LinkedIn changes. That's the nature of social media. That actually is the reason why there's constant changes, is to keep social platforms relevant. So it's our job to figure out and stay on top of the trends. However, I will say that a few of my struggles early on in business, specifically when it came to social media, was that nobody was paying attention to my posts. I can quite honestly tell you that my life was not interesting and I didn't have a lot of followers. Cece kind of co-signs. She says, Jasmine, I create content, but then nobody sees it. How can I get more people to see it on my Instagram and my Facebook group? And I'm going to get to this in a second. But before I get there, let's lay a framework and a foundation. Remember, we're talking about creating magic in our business. So, how then do we go and do that? Well, first, it's time for us to focus on what the biggest struggle is. What I hear that commonly would be the most is like, how do I turn our followers into customers? AKA, how do I turn likes into actual revenue? Or for some people, it's like, oh, how do I get those likes first? Okay, well, there's a series of things that I kind of want to work through. Now, maybe you don't know how to talk to your audience, or maybe you're not sure how to get your audience to talk back to you, or maybe you're showing up consistently, but you're still not making sales. The question I have for you, yes or no? Can you relate? Because what happens is if we could say yes, it opens us to the possibility for us to realize that you're not alone. And as we're here on this live chat, it would be important for us to come out and say, I have totally struggled with this. Or perhaps there's a new way or a different way of looking about how we can build our business. So if we know that, I have to first and foremost come out and let you know that I was in your shoes. I totally know what this feels like. In fact, there are still days that anybody who has outsized dreams also has outsized limits on their time, right? Like, I totally know what it feels like to not exactly be where I want to be in business. But instead of getting stuck there, I first want to acknowledge that there are three main lies. They're lies that people say to ourselves and perhaps sometimes to another. Three lies that it comes to getting sales on social media. Number one, you have to be cool or trendy to make sales. You have to have this totally Instagrammable or perfect life. Number two, it's about having a big audience. If you have millions of followers, well, then it's easier to make sales. And then other people will say, well, my market's too big, or my niche is too small, or I don't know how to stick out. Those are all complete and total lies. I am here to tell you that it ain't the truth. So Tia had asked, how do you reach clients willing to pay the prices for your services? Now, first and foremost, before we actually get into the hard tactical answer, it's number one, you have to get clear with who you serve. The issue that a lot of business owners struggle with, which I struggled with a lot in the beginning, was like my motto was, if anybody has a credit card, I'm gonna be the person for you. I started my career as a photographer, so it's like whoever has a Black American Express card, I'm your photographer. But then all of a sudden, when you realize that just because you have a camera doesn't mean that you can or that you should serve a lot of people. Like when I started creating courses on how to use Instagram in your business, I was like, I teach everybody. When the more I did it, I realized, no, I need to start focusing on a small group of people. And then over time, expand that circle. But you have to, before you ever get sales or a stream of sales on social media, you must know who you are speaking to. You must know their pressure points and you must create content that helps them or serves them or diminishes a fear. This is it. That's the trick. This is how you convert your followers into customers. I know that it would be easier for us to come up with some idea. Well, you see, the reason I don't have sales is because I don't have a private jet, or I'm not a size 2, or I don't have a cute kitten, or I don't have adorable baby. Listen, you can come up with all the reasons why you don't have what you want, but at the end of the day, the clearer you get on who you are serving is when you move the needle in sales for your business. Because once you know who you're trying to attract, those people, your dream customers, will start engaging in your posts. And when your followers engage, that's the key, friends. Your posts get seen in the algorithm. When people engage, there's a higher likelihood of people seeing your post in the algorithm. So right now, if you are watching this video and you've liked it or you've loved it or you follow this page or you leave a comment or if you leave an emoji or if you just say, Jasmine, I'm watching, that's engagement. And number one, if you've done that, thank you. You did your girl a solid. And some people are watching this being like, ew, I'm not gonna like it now. She told me to. That's fine. But engagement, anything that you do on behalf of watching this video, is an indication to the algorithm that you found it helpful, which means the next time you are on a social platform, there is a higher likelihood of you seeing some content that I have produced at a point in the future. And the same way for your content. When you put out content and you have people who are currently engaging, there's a higher likelihood of them seeing your post in the future. But here's the holy grail. When people are engaging with your content now, it also triggers other people who like your page, or perhaps the friends of people who are liking this content to see or stumble upon this piece of content. That's it. I just broke down the entire enchilada on how enchilada. I broke down the entire enchilada of how this thing works. And yet people get so caught up, right? They get caught up in, well, I am not sure. And I know that people are watching right now. And somebody like Jody says, what tools do you recommend for figuring out your target age and information on existing customers? So I appreciate the question, Jody. She wants to know, how do we figure out the target demographic of our current customers? Well, the easiest lifting is right now, as CEO of Social Curator, we have a private community just for our members on Facebook. People who are in a part of this private community, we can go to the insights of our group and we can find out the average age of people. We can find out how many percentage-wise of people are women. We can find out where people live, so that's an easy way. And also, if you happen to have a text community, like people can text me, and we have information around users, around if they want to tell us, we'll ask questions. Like people do a survey. Sometimes we have like a pop-up, like if you have a few minutes, like you can ask people, you can survey people, it's powerful. But the easiest way would be to find that person, to find your audience on Facebook. However, and you also get the same analytics on Instagram too. I will say though, that it's less important unless you absolutely love your business and you don't want to change anything. If you don't want to change anything and you just want more of it, well, then you focus on your current analytics. But if you want to change your business or change your market, perhaps you want somebody who would pay you more, then the idea isn't to look at currently who you're serving. It's to ask yourself, who do I want to serve? Like, who will get my business to where I want it to go? Stephen asked, do you have a mastermind or offer coaching? Absolutely love your advice. Well, Stephen, thank you very much. And I have to say that I do group coaching on the inside of Social Curator. It's what I do on the regular, and we have guest masterclasses. But just in case you're not a member of Social Curator, I want to invite you to a free masterclass. Y'all, it's happening in just a couple days. It's a free masterclass called How to Beat the Algorithm. You can register at jasminestar.com/free class. Y'all, jasminestar.com/free class. Now, the reason why I'm doing this is because I want some dedicated time to actually breaking down the algorithm. What I just broke down for you today was how are we going to get our posts getting engaged with? Awesome. But actually, how do you get those posts seen? That is what I want this 1 hour class to really break down, because once you get your posts seen, then we can up level with engagement. And once we up level engagement, then we build trust. And once we build trust, that's going to be the pathway to getting customers. So y'all, we're going to get that party started. So people are asking questions right now. Thank you very, very, very much. Sammy says, how do you get people engaging in the group? This, again, is going to go back with understanding what is your group about. The social curator group, well, it's about business owners trying to build their business and market it on social media. So a lot of the posts in the group are around social media, around like, how are you marketing? Around like, how are you using social media to build your newsletter list? How are you using social media to fill up a free class or a challenge? So our ideology is focusing on one particular topic. A lot of times if there's a Facebook group that focuses on a ton of things and there's just a bunch of random questions, people actually don't know why they're in the group. So that becomes like one of like the hardest things to capitalize on. So what you want to do is you want to define who is the group for, what are the things that you discuss, and then what are the parameters within the group. Shanae asked, Jay, have you ever been called a bully for your direct, tough love approach? How did you handle it? I am also direct. Okay, so Shanae and anybody else who has wondered this question, I looked at this question and I had to like think about it very clearly. I have not been asked or told that I am a bully when it comes to the way that I coach people. But I also believe that it comes as a result of two things. Number one, I believe that people understand that I am empathetic. That the reason I'm like hard on people is because I have been in the exact same situation, and all I want to do is like, please let me beg you not to waste the time or the energy that I did. So for every excuse that somebody tells me why their business isn't working, I'm like, I use that same excuse and it doesn't work. Like I'm really good. I get asked the same questions again and again and again and again. So I'm very good at anticipating a question. And so because I know how to anticipate a question, people are like, she cut that person off. No, actually, I probably did cut that person off, but because I know where this person's going. So let's not waste any valuable time on what it's going to take to get your business to where it goes. So people know that number one, I speak my dang truth. And if I speak my dang truth, I might be the only person in that person's life to let them know what it is. Stop making excuses. Take personal accountability to put a stake in the ground for your dreams and say, this is where I'm going. Do people think I'm rough around the edges? Probably, but then that means just I'm not the coach for them. But anybody who has voluntarily asked a question on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, if anybody who raises their hand to go on Clubhouse and ask me a question, you know what you're getting into. The terms of our agreement is that I will speak the truth even when it hurts, because I subscribe to the school of thought that an enemy stabs you in the back and a friend stabs you in the front. The friend will cut your heart and say, this is the truth. Do you want it? And if you want it, are you willing to change? All right. Jackie Brooks said, what tech service do you use? We're kind of like in between right now. Like we need a service that kind of does everything. I'm not going to come out and endorse a particular service because we're actually using two different ones. Once we decide on which one we're going to use, I'll let you know what it turns out to be. Stephanie says, I have almost 4,000 friends on Facebook. Grew this by commenting on 3 or more words on posts, just like I heard you say over a year ago. Stephanie, that's it. That's it. I feel like we could just drop the mic here. That's it. What she just said was everything I subscribe to is give the engagement that you want to get. As a result of giving engagement, Stephanie has grown her friends, her circle, her followers on Facebook by 4,000. So then the next question then becomes, how do you get these people, like once they've engaged and once they follow you, actually, how do you get the algorithm to work for you? Like, how do you get your post seen so that your 4,000 friends on Facebook get to see your content? That's what we're going to be focusing on, how to beat the algorithm. Y'all, it is a free class. Courtney and Paige are dropping the link here. You can simply click on it. We would love to see you there. Let's get into a few more questions. Did y'all hear my phone ringing? If you did, I'm so sorry. Okay, Jessica Riley, how do you feel about scheduling bots? Anything bot related, I'm against. If you're working with a scheduling platform, if you need a scheduling platform to be consistent on social media, then I give it a thumbs up. If you can be consistent without a scheduling app, I give you like double thumbs up. I believe that posting your post in real time incite a different level of engagement. Like, this is purely speculation. It's purely speculation, but I've been in the game for a few years, is I've noticed when I schedule posts, they don't perform as well as when I'm posting in real time. And I think it's for two reasons. Number one, why would Facebook want to give somebody else, like a third party, the ability to access content and put things in without creating native content that's real time? Real time means that people, for the second reason, are more likely to comment on their post because they're aware that they actually physically just posted it. Now, I know not everybody can post in real time. I get it. No tea, no shade, no judgment. But if you can, like, set a reminder and you get like a push notification that says like, hey, Julie, it's time for you to post on Facebook. And then you go and you post automatically to Facebook. It's on the top of your mind to go back and check 20 minutes, 30 minutes later and respond back to anybody who has left a comment. That's my personal choice. Again, if you need a scheduler, rock it on out. But if given between the two options, I think doing the work leads to work. Like doing the work, WORK, leads to the work, WERK, cha-ching. Okay. Carrie says, if you join a group to interact, should you join it with your business Facebook page or your own personal page? So first things first, the group has to allow Facebook page profiles to be a part of the group. Not all groups allow Facebook pages. If a group allows you to participate on behalf of your Facebook page all day, every day, I would, because your personal profile is like a big mix of like random, like, I mean, I said no tea, no shade, and my husband's right over here, but our mother, like my mother-in-law, his mom, every year buys everybody matching PJs for Christmas. And like, I love them. I think they're amazing. Do I want to be tagged in like 39 photos of me at Christmas after eating 27 tamales and hot chocolate and cake and cookies and like laying on the couch? Like, probably not. So I want to engage on my Facebook page because it's like the most professional and best representation of my business. So that is my advice. You get to decide on how you use it. But a Facebook page, I always feel is so effective to really give somebody an idea of what your business does. Robbie said, how many posts a day is too many? This entirely depends on your audience. Some audience really want to see a lot of posts for you. I would recommend, it was told to me by a gentleman by the name of Jay Shetty. He creates, like, he's in the business of creating viral videos, like inspirational viral videos. Like, that's what he's known for. And he does a ton of work with Facebook. And he recommends to not post on Facebook more than once every 3 hours. So, 3 hours between posts would probably be the best for you right now. But if you post, let's just say at 8 o'clock, 12 o'clock, and 6 o'clock in a day, and you notice that your engagement keeps on dropping with each subsequent post, that's your audience telling you that's like too many posts because they're not going to go through and like them. If you post 3 times a day and your engagement is the same, like let's say you got 30 likes and 3 comments on all of your posts, that's a really great sign that your audience is digging the content and they're going to be engaging with whatever it is they see. Again, there's not a hard and fast rule. It depends on your audience and the quality of your content, but I would watch your analytics to make sure that you're staying on track according to the demand of your audience. Okay. Another question that we were asked, Miranda, what do you do when your reel views have gone down? So reels on Instagram, aka, are basically the same as these short micro pieces of film, very similar to TikTok. So reels came out 3 or 4 months ago on Instagram. And because when they first came out, there were very few people creating reels, that whenever a reel was created, that reel was over-indexed in the algorithm to be like, get a lot of attention to this reel, because Instagram wants to show people creating reels to incentivize other people who are not making reels to make reels. So we're gonna get into this concept of inventory next week in our live class. Sign up right here. This is where we're gonna get into inventory and what it means. But the short answer is your posts is actually inventory. And so if Instagram wants to over-index inventory around reels, well then the amount of reels that get shown to people is going to be high if there's less reels. But then all of a sudden, more people started making reels, which means that the algorithm has more inventory to choose from. It's very natural for your reels reels views to be dropping, and there's a really good chance that they'll continue to drop because more and more people are creating reels, which means that attention on reels is getting divided around the algorithm showing different reels to different people. Now, if you're like, I haven't even done a reel, don't worry, you're not behind. If you join this live class by signing up right here, if you show up live, you will get 10 easy reels to make for your business. These ideas literally walk you through 10 ideas for reels that you can make for your business. Now, if you're like, Jasmine, I'm not even on Instagram, no worries. You should actually be creating the formula of a reel, and then you can get that like style edit, like that idea of reels, and then you could share them on Facebook stories. You could share them on LinkedIn stories. Anything that's going to drive engagement in a different way is going to be highly powerful and an amazing way for you to get out and talk about your business and get on top of people's minds. Okay, I feel like I'm foaming at the mouth. Like, I don't talk fast, you listen slow. All right, Emily says, it's tough to get responses on Insta and Facebook polls. This may have already been asked. If somebody answered, I will go back and watch from the beginning. Okay, so in my live class, y'all, it's like you guys are just like feeding me these. I'm gonna be walking you through real-time examples. I'm gonna be showing you how I strategically lay out my polls in stories, not just driving for engagement, although that helps. I'm actually using these with a strategy so that I can go through, make the polls easy to answer, and then start engaging with people who answered in a way that I think are primed to become customers. Y'all, Emily, are you going to come to this live class? Monday and Tuesday, are you coming? Because I literally want to walk you through my exact steps and show you exactly what I'm doing on stories with the methodology and the strategy behind it. Okay, friends, thank you. I love popping in and just having conversations. Shout out to Courtney and Paige who are behind the scenes, making sure that your questions are getting answered. I appreciate you guys being here. I appreciate this community. I appreciate Facebook, even with its ups and downs, because it's giving me an opportunity to chase big dreams and connect with people just as amazing as you. Thank you. I hope to see you in that live class next week.